Imagine this. It's the second half of the 19th century. The dust, the sweat, the rhythmic and deafening sound of steel wheels on iron rails cutting through a wild and untamed continent. Outside your window, the American Old West unfolds in all its brutal glory. Endless deserts, towering mountains, and the constant promise of danger and adventure. But inside, where you sit, the reality is different. You hear the soft clinking of silver cutlery against fine china. You see the reflection of the rustic landscape in the crystal of a wine glass. White, starched, immaculate tablecloths, liveried waiters moving with silent grace, and an aroma that defies all logic. The smell of fresh lobster, perfectly grilled steak, and freshly baked bread. Sounds like a movie, doesn't it? But this wasn't fiction. It was the extraordinary reality of the dining cars of America's first luxury trains, an experience so opulent, so revolutionary, that it forever changed not only how people traveled, but how they ate and dreamed. And today we're going to open the menu of these palaces on wheels and discover the unbelievable dishes that were served in the middle of nowhere. To understand the grandeur of these banquets, we need to understand the ambition behind them. Men like George Pullman weren't just building trains. They were selling an experience, an ideal of civilization and progress on rails. The Transcontinental Railroad wasn't just an engineering feat. It was the backbone of a nation in formation, and the Pullman cars were its mobile presidential suites. Comfort was paramount, but the food was the jewel in the crown. It was a statement of power. Serving fresh oysters in the Nevada desert wasn't just about sustenance. It was about showing that American technology and wealth could tame nature and deliver the impossible. If you're fascinated by how technology and ambition shape the world, you're in the right place. And to not miss any trips like this to the past, I ask you to take a short break right now and click the subscription button below. It's quick, it's free, and you'll secure your first-class seat for all our future historical investigations. Believe me, you won't want to miss what's coming. The logistics behind these banquets were a marvel in themselves. The kitchens, or galleys, were tiny, barely enough room for two chefs to move. Everything ran on coal and ice. Enormous blocks of ice were loaded onto the wagons at strategic stops to keep perishable ingredients, prime cuts of meat, seafood, dairy products, in perfect condition for days on end. Companies like the Fred Harvey Company, which operated the restaurants along the Santa Fe line, became legendary for their quality. They created a network of farms, dairies, and fishermen along the routes to ensure the freshest ingredients were always available. Menus changed daily, depending on what was locally purchased along the way. A train leaving Chicago might have a different menu as it crossed Kansas and again as it approached California. It was a farm-to-table system on a continental scale, long before the term became fashionable. So, the question everyone's been waiting for, what exactly was on the menu of these palaces on wheels? Get ready, because this list is a tour of the greatest culinary ambitions of the Gilded Age. We've compiled 15 of the most iconic and luxurious main courses a wealthy traveler could hope to find. And, as I describe them, try to imagine the stark contrast of eating these delicacies while buffalo roamed the plains outside. 1. Green turtle soup. A supreme status symbol in the Victorian era. A rich, gelatinous, and flavorful soup made from turtle shells, often fortified with Madeira wine or sherry. It was the appetizer that screamed wealth. 2. Oysters. Rockefeller. Imagine fresh Atlantic oysters, transported thousands of miles on ice, then gratinated with a rich mixture of butter, herbs, and breadcrumbs. A luxury that seemed impossible to serve in the middle of the Mojave Desert. 3. Lobster. Newburg. Tender pieces of lobster meat, cooked in a velvety sauce of cream, butter, eggs, and a touch of cognac or sherry. Usually served on toast or in vol au vent shells, it was pure decadence. 4. Pompano filet in papillote. A delicate and buttery fish from the Gulf Coast, cooked inside parchment en papillote, with white wine, shrimp, and a mushroom sauce. The act of opening the parchment at the table released an aromatic steam that was part of the spectacle. 5. Terrapin à la Maryland. Another delicacy of the elite, made with the meat of a small freshwater turtle, cooked in a creamy and rich sauce, typical of Maryland cuisine. It was a complex dish and an acquired taste, but its presence on the menu was a sign of sophistication. 6. Roast canvasback duck. Considered the king of wild birds, this duck was famous for its rich and distinct flavor, supposedly derived from its diet of wild celery. Roasted to perfection, with crispy skin, it was often served with currant or orange sauce. 7. Broiled woodcock on toast. Game was a pillar of haute cuisine. Small birds like woodcock were grilled whole and served on a slice of toast that absorbed all the bird's divine juices. It was rustic and refined at the same time. Already salivating? Halfway through the list, and it already looks like the menu of a 3-Michelin-starred restaurant, not a moving vehicle from the 19th century. If you're enjoying this gastronomic journey through time, and I know you are, why not give us a little sign? Leave a like on this video. That simple click tells us that you love this kind of content and motivates us to dig even deeper into the archives of history. And of course, if by some miracle you've made it this far and haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Click subscribe so you don't miss the departure of our next train of discovery, continuing our journey through the dream menu. 8. Roast. Sirloin of beef with Yorkshire pudding. A nod to British tradition, but made with the finest American beef. A generous cut of sirloin, roasted to perfection, served with its own gravy and classic fluffy Yorkshire pudding to soak up every drop of flavor. 9. Spring lamb chops with mint and peas. A dish celebrating the season. Young, tender lamb chops, grilled and served with a fresh mint sauce and sweet peas. Simple, elegant, and delicious. 10. Filet mignon with Béarnaise sauce. The pinnacle of steak. An incredibly tender filet mignon cut, seared in butter and covered with a creamy, tangy Béarnaise sauce made with egg yolks, clarified butter, tarragon, and vinegar. It was the main course for those who wanted the best. 11. Roast pheasant with bread and sage stuffing. Another noble game bird, the pheasant was slow roasted to keep its meat moist, often stuffed and served as the centerpiece of the table. Its colorful plumage was sometimes used to decorate the platter. 12. Prairie chicken, an exclusively American dish. This bird, native to the Great Plains, had a unique flavor, somewhere between chicken and game. It was a local delicacy that trains made a point of offering when crossing its natural habitat. 13. Veal marengo, a dish with history, supposedly created for Napoleon. Pieces of veal braised with tomato, garlic, mushrooms, and white wine, often served with freshwater shrimp and fried eggs on top. Complex and robust. 14. Smoked beef tongue in Madeira sauce. Today it may seem strange, but cuts like tongue were considered delicacies. After being cured and smoked, it was thinly sliced and served in a rich sauce made with Madeira wine, a dish that required skill and patience. 15. Chicken fricassee with biscuits. A comfort dish elevated to a new level. Pieces of chicken slowly cooked in a creamy, velvety white sauce, served on or with fluffy, buttery American biscuits. It was the soul of home cooking with a touch of restaurant class. These dishes were more than just food. They were part of a ritual. Dining on Pullman trains was a social event. Formal attire was required. Tables were set with military precision. The service was impeccable. For the newly rich of the Gilded Age, it was a chance to display their wealth and sophistication. For European travelers, it was proof that America was not just a land of cowboys and dust, but also a place of culture and refinement. This golden age of rail dining helped standardize the quality of restaurants across the country and introduced ingredients from coast to coast, helping to create a truly American cuisine. The history of American luxury trains and their extravagant banquets proves that sometimes the journey can be as spectacular, or even more so than the destination. And here on our channel, we're obsessed with these era-defining journeys. Each video we make is a new passage to a lost world, a story that deserves to be told. To guarantee your first-class seat on all our future explorations, there's only one thing you need to do, and it's the most important thing for us. click the red subscribe button and activate the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss a ride again. We want to hear from you. Comment below which of these 15 dishes you would most like to try on a train trip through the Old West. We can't wait to read your choices and see you on our next historical adventure. Until then.